do it all, to say it all. You know, I get this one opportunity to just be completely honest about everything. I'm going to do this thing.
That's right. He is claiming that after all these leaked emails have come out saying that he's on HGH and whatever else he was taking. Well, my friends, Simon the Board AR here. Thank you very much for joining me, as always. And that's right, we're going to wrap up this Liver King nonsense just because he was on the Andrew Schultz Flagrant podcast the other day, and I just so happened to stumble across this, where, I'm just going to show you the clip because that's the best way to do it. The Liver King said these words.
So my question to you is, would you be willing to go natty now to promote the ancestral tenets even further and say, look, I use this. Now look, I'm just doing this, and I might not be as ripped, but I feel great. I have a family that loves me, everything, you know what I mean?
I'll also answer your question. I believe so deeply in this message, in the 9 ancestral tenets, and the ancestral living. To answer your question, yes.
Okay.
You would go natty.
Yes.
So are you going natty? That's it?
Yes. I'm done with that. You know, when I had the opportunity...
We'll see it if he stops
to issue the apology, I was like, you know what? So many people were threatening to come out like with prescriptions of the actual growth hormone you name it, and I said, well, you know what? This is my time to just do it all, to say it all. You know, I get this one opportunity to just be completely honest about everything. I'm going to do this thing.
That's right. He is claiming that after all these leaked emails have come out saying that he's on HGH and whatever else he was taking, he is going to go natural and he's going to follow his ancestral tendencies. We've done a video on this, which is basically eating a lot of old school meat and going for walks and not getting lost in your phone. And actually, look, there's some decent advice in there. Do I think you should live by the 9 ancestral tendencies? No, I do not. I think you should evolve with the world. I think it's very important. I think you should try and take advantage of the steps forward we have made. But the interesting thing about it is that obviously he said he's going to go natural. Now, I would like to think by this stage, if you were a fan of the Liver King, and I totally understand that you would be disappointed, but I would like to think by now you've realized to take everything that anybody says, be it the Liver King or, you know, pick your celebrity of choice, with a pinch of salt, right? And that he's probably not going to go natural, is my point. We don't know this. I could be totally wrong. But I think it comes down to the fact that he didn't all of a sudden one day wake up and go, you know what, I'm misleading a lot of people here. You know, I'm telling everyone that I'm living like a caveman. That's why I'm the most jacked person on the planet, as opposed to all the other stuff he was putting in himself. And if he had done that, I think you could have believed it more because he wasn't pushed, right? There was no reason for him to do it. But of course, Derek, More Plays, More Dates, absolute hero, came out. And I can't remember his name now. He's a great YouTuber too. I'm so sorry. But the coach that actually sent the email to Derek as well came out and told his story, which was a fascinating video. And he's really good. He's got some great advice as well. So, you know, they kind of put the Liver King in a position where he had no choice. Like, that's just how the internet works. If all of a sudden your ass is against the wall, you have to do the apology video. And if you've seen the Liver King apology video, it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the greatest because all of a sudden he's talking about how, oh my gosh, so many people are struggling in the world and I was just trying to help them, which is a great message. People are struggling in the world, but don't talk about your natty or not status then. Focus on your ancestral tendencies and focus on mental health.
Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I'm on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician. Liver King, the public figure, was an experiment to spread the message, to bring awareness to the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves, the 80,000 people a day that try to kill themselves. Our people are hurting at record rates.
If anybody brings up the subject of drugs, just go, you know what, it doesn't matter. And then, I mean, people are going to make their minds up if you do say that, but at least you haven't doubled down on it. So we'll have to keep an eye on it, right? And if all of a sudden he does scale back massively and he is, a smaller guy, we will know. But I think my problem with it is everything is an absolute. Oh, I don't do anything, he does everything. Oh, now you found me doing everything, I'm going to do nothing. It's like, you are allowed to have some kind of a middle ground because I like to try and look at everything for what it is and try and look at the human side because I think that's important, especially in 2022. I think the human side can be lost a lot. And when you read those emails that he was sending to different coaches around the world, there's no two ways about it. The Liver King was struggling with his appearance and he was struggling with how he looked. Now, you can say, yes, but he was only doing that in order to try and market himself. Well, that still counts. Right, it has to be something deep down in there that is a self-worth problem or an ego problem, I suppose. Not an ego problem, but there must have been something within him when he was lacking confidence. Hence why he was worried about this tiny bit of back fat that he may or may not have had. Now, I can understand that. You know, I have body dysmorphia, but you accept these things and you move on. So I don't all of a sudden think he should throw the baby out with the bathwater just because all this stuff has happened. Just promote a healthy lifestyle, while also mentioning that maybe he is going to stay on TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, which is perfectly fine. It has become a medication that you are able to take at the right time with a proper doctor or a medical person, and they'll keep you on it and they'll watch your blood work, and you just keep your levels topped up to where they were back in your 20s. So even when you get to late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you're still feeling pretty good. I don't understand why you wouldn't do that, finances aside. It is quite expensive. The problem we have is that people are getting to their late teens, early 20s, and they're just going nuts straight away, and they're destroying their endocrine system, and they're seeing people like the Liver King going, well, I'm desperate to look like that, and when I look like that, maybe I'll have 1 million followers, and maybe I'll be able to have my own supplement company, and maybe people will look up to me and my physique, and it will fill up my self-worth tank. But the truth is, it won't, right? It just won't. It won't make a difference. Somebody will come up to you and say, oh, all right, big guy, and you feel good for 5 minutes. But if you don't have that internal feeling of satisfaction, there's a name for all of this. It's like called external reaction versus internal reaction or something like that. It stands to reason what it is. An external reaction is, let's say you sing a song, right? You're a singer. You sing a song. Oh my gosh, I'm so great. And then somebody comes up to you and go, wow, that was a great song. And all of a sudden you feel yourself get better because you get that nice little pat on the back. That is obviously an external force boosting those levels. Whereas an internal one is before you've even gone to the gig, you're like, I'm going to smash that and I'm going to have a great time. And 9 times out of 10, when you have that kind of attitude, surprise, surprise, that is the experience you get. So this is, again, I'm kind of repeating what I said in the last video, but I think it's a message that's worth repeating. Just make sure whoever you're watching, myself included, you just treat it as what it is. Some random person on the internet talking to you. You can do all the drugs in the world and you don't know what you're going to look like. Some people look worse on drugs because they can't handle the amount of levels they've decided that they have to take. So this doesn't mean that, you should go absolutely crazy either. Basically, just don't follow follow everyone to such an intense degree that it's ruining your life. Because fitness is important, and being healthy, of course, is massively important. And it should be, a huge thing within your life. But it also shouldn't be dragging you down. And I think actually a better thing for the Liver King would have done, rather than emailing bodybuilding coaches and saying, look, I'm really worried about this and I'm really worried about that, he probably could have gone and talked to somebody else and said, listen, I kind of feel this way. It's making me feel a little bit sad in my tum-tum. Is there something I can do about it? And usually when you do work through all of this, madness, you realize that there's something else you need to sort out. Like for me, I'm 99, I've never gone to anybody. I have for other stuff, not for this. I'm 99% sure that the reason I got into lifting weights is because I was bullied in school. And all of a sudden, watching stuff like wrestling and being into superheroes and seeing how confident and strong they were, I put together this mental puzzle where I was like, well, okay, maybe a good way to stop the bullies is by looking imposing, right? Is by looking imposing. And then all of a sudden I realized, that does give me more confidence. And it does make me feel a little bit safer. Plus, I just love going to the gym, which is the most important part. So all those things come together where now, I rely on it a little bit. Now it's a great thing to rely on, right? Going to the gym. Of course, you can take that too far too. Sadly, some people go, the other direction where it's not so good. If you're relying on drugs or you're relying on, alcohol or things like that, it's probably not going to be ideal down the line. Now, obviously, there's variations of that. Booze is going to be better for you than cocaine, for example. Marijuana is going to be better than heroin. I mean, it's a completely different conversation that we don't need to have today. But a few people did message me this clip of the Liver King saying that he was going natty. And I could feel the passion in their messages. Do you think he's telling the truth? Do you think he's actually going to do it? Do you think we're going to see him scale back down? And I was like, this is the stuff we need to get away from. Just see what he's going to do. Again, keep him at arm's length, and always remember that, just always assume that what you're being told is a bunch of gibberish. And that you should just focus on yourself, especially when it becomes to lifting weights, because it is a personal endeavor. Like if you start off lifting weights, you're doing a 20 kilogram bench press, and in a few years you're able to do a 100 kilogram bench press. I mean, you're gonna look pretty good anyway, but it almost doesn't matter what you look like. It's such an incredible achievement, and we don't celebrate that enough. What we celebrate is body fat levels, and what we celebrate is, like crazy, physiques or crazy body transformations. And of course, there's a place to that too. But it would be lovely if you could make a YouTube video with that title. I added an extra 20 kilograms to my bench press, and you would get all this traction, but you don't. It's dry scooping. Or it's like sticking pre-workout up your nose to see what you can and what you can't get away with. And it's the kind of fitness stuff I don't think is helping anyone. So yeah, we're going to draw a line on the Liver King stuff now, unless all of a sudden he does turn up and he's like 150 pounds soaking wet. That's just a video that I would have to make. But from now on, use this as a nice life lesson, and we'll just make up someone. Bob Floor, right? Bob Floor is an amazing, jacked up celebrity, and you love what Bob Floor does. You love his movies, you love his YouTube videos, you love his music, you love his books. He does it all, right? If Bob Floor looks you into a camera and says, I don't do this, or I do this, or up, down, left, right, Nintendo, just go, okay, Bob, thanks very much. Enjoy his content, but keep on doing you, because health and fitness is too important to the people that do get into it. You spend too much time, you spend too much money, and you spend too much worrying to all of a sudden be knocked off piste. So don't let anybody do that within this. Don't let anybody do that to you in the real world either. Now, please do leave a comment below and let me know what you think about the Liver King and what's he going to do next and what he's not going to do. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the bell, ding, ding, notification crew. I appreciate you a lot. There will be a video on the screen, probably a Liver King one. Give it a click. See what I had to say about it. Otherwise, the stuff you can do. GorillaMind.com/Simon. Just go to Simon, get 10% off. There will be a link for all of this in the description below. I'm pretty sure if you use the code Simon today, you get 20% off. There's a Christmas sale going on, and if you spend over a certain amount, I think it's $120, $150, you're going to get a bunch of free stuff, right? Make sure you go to my Instagram at Simon316, where all this information will be. I'm now on Pro Wrestling Tees, prowrestlingtees.com/Simon Miller. That's where you get my wrestling tees, and you can get my fitness tees at Samston Athletics. Again, you can use all the information down there. I get some money from all of these. The reason I wanted to team up with other people is because they're handling everything, so the shirts are going to be better quality and they're getting to you quicker. And thank you so much to everyone who has bought one so far. Social media at Simon316. On Cameo, if you want some kind of happy holiday shout out, I always enjoy doing those. Patreon.com/Simon316. And that's it. There we go. Liver King. I felt a bit sorry for him. I know people got mad when I said that last time, but I do. I think he's a guy who's trying to find his place in the world, and he thought his place was lifting weights. And of course it can be that, but that should just be a small percentage, because you're more than just what you do in the gym. You're a damn human being.